So the Houston Astros reports are calling up J.P. France. There's also reports that he's going to start tomorrow's game in Seattle. So the debut of J.P. France, he was scratched from yesterday's game, not used. So yesterday he was supposed to start. So he's going to be on, he's actually a couple of extra days of rest when he starts for the Astros tomorrow. And then there was news coming out earlier today that the Astros, or the Space Cowboys, have scratched Forrest Whitley's for today's start. A lot of people are jumping to conclusions. Perhaps Forrest Whitley is also on his way up for the Houston Astros. What do you make of all of this mess?
Well, I think that there's a couple of different ways. When I first heard the news and saw what you saw, the first thing I thought was, well, both the guys that are on the IL are going to be there for a while, and they're probably more significant than they want to lead on to. And even in the case of Urquidy, we already basically were told without being told he's going to be on the IL for a while. They're going to make sure that he's right and shut him down for a while. So what it told me is that they need two starters to kind of fill in this important section of the early portion of the year, and that France was the first solution that everybody knew. Whitley is the other guy, as much as Belak did it the other night, and there was talk of Belak also being a guy that still possibly could be worked in. I think that the time has now finally come that the guy that has been more talked about than just about any pitching prospect for the Astros, maybe in 2 decades, is a guy that's going to get his time in the major leagues. I think the first thing it said to me was he's pitching very soon for the Astros, and they need to see what he has. And it's kind of similar to what we had with the conversation of Dana Brown needs to explore both interior and exterior options, and everything should be on the table as to how they solve this short-term problem and how the long-term effects of it, are residual with the two pitchers. I think you're going to see Whitley pitch very quickly in the big leagues for the Astros as well, and I'm excited to see what he's got because I'm tired of getting people that gets hooked on social media videos of his stuff. I need to see if he's capable of getting major league hitters out.
I don't think this means Forrest Whitley's coming up, to be honest with you.
Why?
Because he's got a 6 ERA in Sugar Land.
Yeah, but he's got a plus fastball, and everybody's sick of hearing about him, and then all the setbacks and the things that have happened along the way that have given people cause for pause. I think that they want to see what they got. They want to see if he's capable of doing this. And regardless of what his ERA says, and regardless of the circumstances around it, I think that they're also in a pinch. And I think that if they don't believe that Belak is a guy that they can truly count on for multiple starts in this period of time when they're trying to figure it out, I think they're going to see who else can.
But they already called up Belak and not Whitley. So I don't think that they're telling you that they trust Whitley.
Well, then why would they shut him down?
Forrest?
Yeah.
I'm scared. Maybe it's something
Injury?
else. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Okay.
I don't understand the plan of calling Forrest Whitley up. You already made the decision that Belak's coming up before Whitley. You already leaked out that J.P. France is going to get called up and make a start tomorrow. What's the move? You're going to send – who are you sending down? Because tomorrow – whenever they make the move official that, J.P. France is now being added to the active roster, well, who are you sending down? It's probably either Ronel Blanco or Matt Gage. It's one of those two.
I was going to say Gage because they used him,
right.
And at the time they had indicated he might be sent down before the road trip.
So one of those guys is going down. So if you're adding Forrest Whitley, then the other guy's going down? They're suddenly going to flip the switch on Ronel Blanco that we think Ronel Blanco should go back to Sugar Land and he should be pitching, and we're going to bring up Forrest Whitley, who has an ERA of 6? I really don't see the logic there.
Well, but you know that you've seen what I've seen, which is Blanco, for as much as Dana Brown was enamored with his stuff in spring training and wanted to stretch him out, he struggled since he's been on the active roster this year. Maybe also the fact that they want to get him down there and get a couple of starts so that he can start getting more stretched out than he maybe already is. And at the same time, see what you got, because it's all hands on deck, and see, who's capable of stepping up for the short term to help out.
Blanco's been better in the majors than Forrest Whitley's been at AAA. Though.
I know what you're saying.
I don't understand. I don't get the play. I really don't get the play of Forrest Whitley being added to this roster right now. I really don't.
I just think that they think that he has the stuff, and obviously, again, because of when they drafted him, what they thought he had, and then whatever has happened since then. I believe there's still a belief that they want to see what they've got, so that they truly know what Dana Brown is dealing with, because he came in well after all of the Forrest Whitley hype and then the downfall. And I think they want to see it. And I think that regardless of whoever he played against and whatever the circumstance was, and how he got touched up in Sugar Land, I think they're probably going to give him a start or two to see what he can do.
I don't think there's any way they're giving him a start.
Okay.
I think there's a minor chance that they're adding him to this pitching staff. They're not giving him a start over Brandon Bielak. They called it Brandon Bielak first. They're not giving him a start over JP France. They've already announced that JP. Well, they didn't announce, but reports are saying that JP France is going to start tomorrow's game. I don't think they're going to a 6-man rotation. I don't think there's any chance that Forrest Whitley's starting a game with the current 5 that you already have, at least in the next couple of weeks. And I really don't see the plan of adding him to the big league team at all right now.
So do you think that we're misreading this then?
Yeah, I do.
And that this is another injury?
Or, yeah, maybe it's not serious, but yeah, I do. Why are they calling it Forrest Whitley? What's the plan?
I think it's stuff, what you see with the stuff in your eyeballs.
Don't they like Ronel Blanco's stuff? And Ronel Blanco's been better in the majors than Forrest Whitley's been in AAA.
Yeah, but if they believe that he has, if they see it, and it's okay, well, we put him with Maldi, we put him around Josh Miller, maybe we can help develop him more up here. He's got big league stuff. The numbers might not say it right now, but he's got what he needs to succeed. So there could be a path. I mean, my biggest concern is that this. I think for sure Luis Garcia's injury news is bad, and maybe they're not letting on how serious Urquidy is,
or how much time they're going to sit him.
Yeah.
I don't think it really has much to do with Urquidy. I think it
More
has.
Garcia?
Yeah, I don't know if Urquidy really factors into play here because they've already announced Urquidy's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. So that is already what it is. It's sunk cost at this point.
And with the Bielak stuff, Bielak could be sent down. It could be they could like Matt Gage. And Bielak, I know it seems like he's a factor, but maybe they don't think he is.
And now Forrest Whitley's part of your 5-man rotation, and Brandon Bielak is not.
Or JP Francis, and then.
Well, JP France is starting tomorrow.
I think JP France, unless he completely craps the bed, he's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, so
I think he's going to be your first fill-in starter that they're going to give a really good look to. But I really believe that. I go back to what I said about Dana Brown, and I hope you're wrong, just simply because I hope Forrest Whitley doesn't have another setback.
I hope I'm wrong too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, when I said Dana Brown right now is the time to explore all your options. He's an option. He might not be your best option. Your point about his ERA may lead a lot of people to believe, or some people to believe, that he doesn't deserve the chance. But we know what, to Joe's point, his stuff has been, what people have seen, the reason why he was taken where he was taken. And I think Dana Brown, who doesn't know that much about him compared to the rest of us, would probably like to see what he can do and with the people and the resources at the major league level, see if he's capable of doing something.
I also wouldn't bring him up, Forrest Whitley, to make his Major League Baseball debut when he hasn't been pitching well. He's been in bad form. There's no urgency to bring up Forrest Whitley. Is he a marketable, is he that's the wrong word. Is he substantially better than Brandon Bielak at getting hitters out in the big league level? I think the numbers would tell you no. How about JP France? I think the numbers would tell you no. Ronel Blanco, I know, has been getting hit around a little bit. 4.5 ERA in the bigs is better than a 6 ERA in Sugarland. So I do think that the Forrest Whitley not making tonight's start for Sugarland, I do think people are jumping to some conclusions that maybe aren't true. I don't see them sending down Blanco for Forrest Whitley. And JP France is taking somebody's roster spot tomorrow. JP France is taking the roster spot of Gage, or he's taking the roster spot of Blanco. You're assuming it's Gage. I probably agree with you. If it's not, so now, if Forrest Whitley's coming up, whose roster spot is he taking? He's taking Ronel Blanco's? He's taking Brandon Bielak? I just don't see that. I really don't. And look, I think it'd be intriguing to see Forrest Whitley, but also for Forrest Whitley, trying to do what's right for Forrest Whitley. Why are you bringing up Forrest Whitley whenever he hasn't been pitching all that well?
I think we've seen a lot of Blanco, and I think that what we've seen so far maybe gives you an indication that, not that they've seen enough, but that they want to try somebody else, or he's been basically mop-up guy. He's not being used. As much as he came out of camp being a guy everybody was talking about, I think that Dana Brown's seen enough of him for the time being, and I think he's probably slightly intrigued with just the overall arm strength and the stuff that Whitley possesses, whether he's being effective with it or not, and I think he wants to see what he can do.
I think it's important to note too that Forrest Whitley, coming into today, has appeared in 5 games. 3 of them have been starts. But in every single game, he's went 4 or more innings. The Astros in Sugarland, they use the piggyback system. So just because Forrest Whitley is not starting today's game, there is a decent chance he's piggybacking and throwing 4 innings in relief. He's appeared in 5 and he started 3, but every outing he's thrown 4 innings or more. I don't think Forrest Whitley's on his way to the Astros.
We'll see.
JP France, Forrest Whitley, piggyback makes some sense, though.
Why would that make more sense than a JP France, Ronel Blanco piggyback?
I don't know if it makes more sense, but it makes sense.
Well, but
like,
I think
if they're both coming up, it's like you got to put them somewhere. You're not going to use them in only certain situations.
Okay,
and
let's entertain that idea for a second. Forrest Whitley's piggybacking JP France. Who are you sending down?
Belak.
So who's your fourth starter?
No, I guess in that situation it would be Gage and Blanco.
It'd probably be Blanco.
Yeah.
So now your only long guy, mop-up guy would be Martinez. If
He was going to be the other name I threw out there. Like,
Dusty likes what he can do.
they kind of like they feel. I feel like they're wishy-washy on Seth Martinez.
I think they view Seth Martinez as just a guy.
Yeah, he is who he is, and who Dusty thought he would be, which is I could throw him in a mop-up situation, I could throw him in a multiple inning situation. He basically doesn't get blown up. He's not overpowering, but he can be effective, and I think Dusty trusts him. But I think it is definitely Blanco and Gage that go down, and I think that when I was going to say that you're onto something, it's because they've done it before. They've done it before when they were getting Hunter Brown ready, when they were doing the split starts too, where they were doing each guy 4+, and they were trying to get guys ready and see. And that's how.
Bigs?
No, it's Sugarland.
Yeah.
In Sugarland. So I think that there's probably something to that in terms of systematically what they're trying to do.